Hey there everyone, Hanyou here, and welcome to a bit of a special thing. As you noticed, I haven't really had any videos on my channel this week. That's mainly due to E3, and I'm here to talk to you about E3. Well, more specifically, who I think won E3, and about the 6 main press conferences that happened from Saturday to Tuesday. And I am going to be going in the order of which I believe from who won E3 to who utterly failed E3 this year. And to give you the short list, the order of which I will be going is Nintendo won E3, hands down, no questions asked. I will be going into detail later, but it goes Nintendo, Microsoft, Ubisoft, Sony, Bethesda, and then EA. Now, going into more detail, I have a list of everything that they announced and showed at each of the conferences in front of me right now. So I'll be going over each of these as such, starting with, of course, Nintendo. And I'll be straight up, Nintendo pulled out all the stops this year. They're giving us everything we've been wanting and so much more. And yeah, I mean, first off, let me just say this. I was when I first started watching the Nintendo press conference, I jokingly said, okay, we have Link, we have the Zelda game, we have a Mario game coming out. What we really need now is a Metroid game. And even if it's just a logo, and then what do you know, like most of the way, halfway through the conference, through their little demonstration or whatever, because it's a Nintendo thing, it's a pre-recorded thing that they do online. Halfway through it, they announced Metroid Prime 4, which blew my freaking mind away. That, oh my god, they're actually working on it, and it's freaking, and I can't wait to hear and see more. But that aside, we're also getting a new Kirby game, which looks, it's Kirby, which is awesome. And keep in mind, a lot of this stuff is for the Switch. We have got a Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which further, I'll admit, this further raises questions about whether or not they're pushing the Switch more than their DS line, 3DS line, 2DS line, whatever you want to say. Because the first Xenoblade Chronicles was on the 3DS, so it's still. But you know what? We also got an announcement of a core Pokemon RPG coming to the Switch, so that is confirmed. But it just might not be here for another year or so, because I mean they are publishing Ultra Sun and Moon this year, so it makes sense that they wouldn't want to step on the toes of those games. We're getting a Yoshi game. We're getting Breath of the Wild DLC. Rocket League's coming to the Switch, and we also got one crazy weird look at Super Mario Odyssey. So as a bit of a recap for the Nintendo conference, we're getting all their major franchises onto the Switch within the next year, which is insane, which is freaking awesome. So we got Zelda DLC, we got Mario coming in October, we've got Rocket League, we've got, which isn't, yeah, that's not core Nintendo franchise, but we've got Yoshi, we've got Kirby, we've got Metroid, we've got Pokemon, and even Xenoblade Chronicles too. That's all coming within the next year, maybe. Well, aside from Metroid, Metroid is probably a ways off, probably like another year or two. And Pokemon's about another year off too. But that's pretty damn awesome. That's a hell of a lineup, and in my opinion, this lineup is what stole E3. Because before the Nintendo press conference, it was Microsoft, Ubisoft, Sony, Bethesda, and EA for me. So they had a lot to stand up to, and in my opinion, they did it. And yeah, So I'm very much looking forward to this catalog. Means I need to buy a Switch, which I planned on doing anyway for Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey, but I can't do Switch content on my freaking Nintendo content on my freaking YouTube channel though, because of Nintendo's stupid policy when it comes to Let's Plays. Anyway, moving on. Microsoft won second place in E3 because of their announcement of the Xbox One X. We got verification of the specs. We got a price point of $499. Yes, it may seem a little expensive, but when you're paying for it, but you're basically getting a $1,000 PC for $500. That's a fucking steal. Like, seriously. And that's a really good price point for what we're getting out of the Xbox One X. That might be a bit complicated to abbreviate. Some people are calling it the XOX, but it's when you think about it, when it comes to abbreviation point, well, the original Xbox was abbreviated like XB because it was X space box. So if you think about it that way, the abbreviation for Xbox One X is Xbox, XBOX. So it's either going to be, people are going to either stick with XOX or people are going to get confused. That being said, it releases November 7th, which is awesome, and a lot of games that come out around then is going to have Xbox One X support, which means 4K games right out the gate. And that's freaking awesome. Backwards compatibility with will soon be including original Xbox games, including Crimson Skies. That was the one that they showcased there, which is freaking awesome because I remember I actually bought my original Xbox in a bundle with Crimson Skies, and Crimson Skies is awesome. It's a really, really good dogfighting game. So that actually makes me happy as someone who was an adopter of, who has been an adopter of the Xbox line. And it's something Sony really needs to pick up on. Seriously, saying people don't like backwards compatibility. That's such bullshit. As somebody who's also had every PlayStation console except for PlayStation 3, I want one though. But if they do backwards compatibility, I won't need to buy one. So get on that, Sony. Forza Motorsport 7 looks amazing on the Xbox One X, but you know, if you're going to showcase the graphics of a new system, it's got to be either a fighting game, a racing game, or a sports game, and they knocked it out of the park with Forza 7. Another game they knocked it out of the park with the graphics demonstration is Metro Exodus, which I honestly wasn't expecting another Metro game because the last two games pretty much expended at least what I thought, they expended the content of the two books that are out there, 2033 and Last Light. So I was actually very surprised to see that that they had a new Metro game to show off. Then we got our first look at Assassin's Creed Origins, which I'll admit looked amazing. And they've reworked so very much in Assassin's Creed, and for better or worse, and in my opinion, for better, I think Assassin's Creed might be back, and it's a true show of form. The combat's been reworked, and a lot of it's been reworked, and it works out, and it looks like it just works, which is so very important. And we got some rundown of some indie-ish games coming to Xbox One X. Deep Rock Galactic. It's basically voxely Starship Troopers in first person. PlayerUnknown's Battleground will be an Xbox One console launch exclusive. Whether or not that means it's a timed console exclusive or not, because there were a lot of these console launch exclusives or and stuff like that that we're not exactly sure if it's going to be exclusive to Xbox or if it's going to be timed exclusive. State of Decay 2, though, is coming spring next year, so that's awesome because I love the first one. Minecraft is going fully multi-platform, which means cross-play between PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, PC, and mobile, which is awesome. Dragon Ball Fighter Z is kind of like a 2D Dragon Ball fighting game, which is weird considering most of the fighting games are and take place in a three-dimensional arena, but it doesn't. But it looks good. It looks really good, and I love Dragon Ball. So, and then we have the Darwin Project, which is kind of like Hunger Games in a with a cartoony overtone, sort of, but at the same time it's like a arena Hunger Games, which is basically what Hunger Games is. Black Desert Online is coming to the Xbox One, so that's interesting, and I want to see more about that. The Last Night is kind of like a pixel artish. I'm not sure even how to explain it, but it looks good. But, I mean, pixel art games usually play fairly well. It kind of looks like a, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain that game. The Artful Escape looks weird, but looks interesting. Code Vein is basically... yeah, it's anime vampires, but I've also seen it described as anime Dark Souls. And the combat looks solid, the gameplay looks solid, it looks really good. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to that. Tacoma is coming out August 2nd. Cuphead, after years of trailers and everything, is finally coming out September 29th. A whole bunch of games coming through the ID at Xbox program. Ashen, basically, is another Dark Souls-esque game, and in a world where Dark Souls is now done, we kind of need more of these. We got our first look at Life is Strange Before the Storm, which is a prequel to the original Life is Strange, which I'm very much looking forward to, because Life is Strange is a very intriguing, puzzling, cognitive, time travel-ish game and series, and I'm very much looking to see more of it, so keep it coming. 3 chapters. First one will be out August 31st. Super Lucky's Tale leaves VR behind and is coming November 7th onto Xbox. Sea of Thieves. Yes, the demo was awesome, and it's pirates, it's rare, it's more of what we've been seeing, and I just can't wait for more of this game, and I can't wait for it to come out. Crackdown 3's alive! Yes, this was a big moment, and they got Terry Crews. He has his, like, he was putting on his, Old Spice attitude for this, and it was hilarious. I loved it, and I just can't wait to see more of it, and I just can't wait for this game to be out already, because it's been too long already. We saw Shadow of War. Bruce, man, the Shadow of War gameplay trailer this time was all about Bruce. He's an orc. He was hilarious, and he basically stole the show. We're getting a new Ori game, which is incredible because the first game was so good, so very good. It tugged on your heartstrings, and the platforming was awesome. It was a Metroidvania, and this game, we didn't see any gameplay, but there's no doubt that it's going to be the same, which I'm very much looking forward to. It's called Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and it's going to be awesome. And then the show closed with with our first gameplay look at Anthem, which is like which is BioWare's answer to like Destiny cross Titanfall cross The Division, with but shrink down the Titanfall mechs to like Iron Man size. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing more of this. And yeah, so it is a multi-platform game, same with Assassin's Creed, but it seems like if you want the perfect experience on console, you will want to play a lot of these multi-platform games on the Xbox One X. Sorry, PlayStation Pro, but again, I've commented on your specs previously. You just don't. You're just not capable of true 4K. You're capable of fake 4K, unfortunately. Sony kind of dropped the ball on that, and I've said it multiple times. So, that being said, that wraps up everything that Microsoft had at E3, which was the big talking points and stuff like that. And they had a fantastic show, absolutely fantastic show. They usually have a really good show, but this year's show was absolutely flooring for a lot of reasons. Next up is Ubisoft, which had their best show in years, hands down, no questions asked. I mean, let's be honest, Beyond Good and Evil 2. Beyond Good and Evil 2 is confirmed. We got a hell of a trailer for it, and when the first trailer first started, I'm like, wait a second, is this? It can't be. Is it? No. It is, isn't it? And then when the when the title card popped up, I was like, "Oh my fucking god! It's Beyond Good and Evil 2. They're actually doing it." It made me so happy. It made me so very happy. I need to go back and play Beyond Good and Evil 1 again now, don't I? Shit. I might actually have to put that on my channel too. That being said, in addition to that, we also got a whole bunch of other good stuff, which, yeah, Mario plus Rabbids. It's Nintendo XCOM. That's what everybody's been calling it online, and I completely agree, because that seems to be what it is. It's got an overworld you can run around in, but then when you get into the combat, it's very much XCOM. Like, it's XCOM with Mario and Rabbids, which honestly I'm fine with. Has a nice depth of strategy to it, while at the same time having the usual Rabbids humor and Mario humor and stuff like that. And I'm kind of actually looking forward to that too. I never thought I'd say that about a Rabbids game, but it looks really good. We got a brief look at The Crew 2, which, I mean, I'll have to wait till it comes out before I give my full look at The Crew 2, because the first one was alright, and it got better, but I want to see how it is before I say anything positive or negative about it. I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks fantastic, which is awesome. Next up, we got Transference, which is a very creepy, kind of disturbing VR game, and it's very interesting. I want to see more of it. Skull and Bones. Hey, you know what? They took everything from Assassin's Creed Black Flag and made it its own game. Because it's Pirates, it's made by Ubisoft. It looks very much... The combat looks very similar, but different enough to differentiate itself from Black Flag. And we saw a PvPvE, player versus environment, match go down when they announced it, and honestly it looks really good, and also kind of a bit of a pirate fantasy-esque thing going on there, because at the very end there was a brief trailer teaser of a kraken in the waters of Skull and Bones, which is very interesting, and I want to see more of it. Because who doesn't like pirates? And, I mean, you got Rare's Sea of Thieves, now you have Skull and Bones, and more pirates, man. And next up is something that I really enjoyed seeing. It's kind of like Skylanders meets Amiibo, and it's called Starlink, and it looks really good. Interchangeable ships and ship parts on the fly using a actual figure that attaches to the Joy-Con remote, Joy-Con controller. It's called Starlink Battle of Atlas. It looks really good. It looks like it plays really good, and I'm very much looking forward to it because, yeah, it looks like something I'd be interested in. We got a Far Cry 5 gameplay demo, and it looked awesome. I mean, they're in my opinion, Ubisoft is like completely tearing down the expectations of their old franchises, Assassin's Creed and Far Cry specifically, and just being like, here, have this, enjoy. And it's just like, I want to see more, specifically of Far Cry 5, because we saw a lot of Assassin's Creed Origins already. And I want to see how they're differentiating it even more from past games. But from what I've seen, it looks awesome. It looks fantastic. I'm very much looking forward to this. I already talked about Beyond Good and Evil, but you know what? Just because Beyond Good and Evil, can't wait for Beyond Good and Evil 2. So, and that does it for Ubisoft's breakdown. Next up is Sony. I was kind of disappointed from Sony's show, but at the same time, it was a really good show because we saw a lot of gameplay for stuff they announced last year, which is good, but at the same time, they kind of let us down with announcements this year because we didn't get really that many. We got DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn is on the way, called The Frozen Wilds. It's coming later this year. We got Uncharted spin-off called Lost Legacy, which honestly I'm not that interested in. I'm tired of set-piece, linear-esque, faux open world, mostly linear action games that focus so much on set pieces. I'm tired of them. Can we get away from these, please? That being said, it looks really good. It comes out August 22nd. And can we just let Naughty Dog get away from the Uncharted franchise, please? They've said multiple times now that they're done with the Uncharted franchise, that they don't want to do the Uncharted franchise anymore, that they want to do new stuff, which, honestly, speaking of Naughty Dog, we didn't see shit about the game that we really want to see, which is The Last of Us 2. Not a peep, not a sign, not a signal, no nothing. We saw Days Gone again, which was really good. This was more of a story-based gameplay segment, which showed how we can manipulate people and manipulate the Horde, and it was really good. And it's a game I'm looking forward to because zombies. And the next game, which honestly, okay, they announced a few things that we weren't expecting. One of them being Monster Hunter is coming to consoles and PC. But, you know, but this is a multi-platform game, too. Monster Hunter World is coming to PS4, Xbox One in early 2018, and it's coming to PC at a later date. So, that being said, we're not sure when it's coming to PC, but we do know, hey, we're getting Monster Hunter for the first time off a Nintendo platform in years, coming to consoles and PC. That's a pretty big announcement, actually. So it's been a very long time since I've last played a Monster Hunter game. I think it was last on the PS2. So I'm very much looking forward to playing this, because while I do have a 3DS, I'd much rather play it on the big screen. No offense, Nintendo. You've been doing really good. You've been doing great at keeping the Monster Hunter franchise alive over the years, and proving that there is still a stable fan base for it. Maybe that's why they finally decided to bring it to consoles. That being said, yeah, looking forward to it. We're getting a Shadow of the Colossus remake / remaster? I don't know. It's actually being labeled as a remaster, despite the fact it's actually a remake for... I don't know, because they just remastered it, so I have no idea what's going on with this. It looks really good. I mean, it's Shadow of the Colossus. It's one of my favorite games out of the PS2 era, period, so I'll play it. Yeah. We got a multiplayer trailer for Call of Duty World at War. Looks good. Looks like... it looks like Call of Duty, but at the same time not, because it's very much a revamp of the whole Call of Duty franchise, which seems to be the theme of E3 this year. Is what can we do to improve our old franchises? What can we do to breathe life into our old franchises? We're seeing it with Assassin's Creed. We're seeing it with Far Cry 5. Hopefully, we're seeing it with the new Uncharted. Maybe. We'll see. I'd hope so, because I'm tired of set-piece action games in a fake open world that's mostly with linear storytelling. I mean, it's 2017, people. Come on. That being said, Call of Duty's out November 3rd. Yeah, so PSVR games. Final Fantasy 15 fishing game. What the hell? Yeah, can we not, please? Star Child, which looks interesting. The Inpatient, which looks interesting. Skyrim VR. Hey, why didn't they announce this at Bethesda's conference? Who knows? I mean, they announced that... we'll get there later. God of War gameplay trailer / CG engine trailer. Looked amazing. It's God of War, and it looks a lot like what we saw last year. I mean, it looks really good, but at the same time, very similar gameplay to what we saw last year. Detroit, Become Human, more of what we saw last year, essentially. And then the big one, the big gameplay reveal that they showed off at the end of their show this year was Spider-Man. It looks amazing. Looks like it plays amazing. Looks like they finally are doing web slinging right again, which is something they haven't done since Spider-Man 2 way back when. So that makes me happy, because Spider-Man 2's web slinging has been what it was for a very long time the best superhero game until the Arkham franchise came out. So that makes me happy. I'm very much looking forward to it. Can't wait to see more from this game. Oh, and by the way, the Miles Morales Easter egg / cameo that they did at the end was... I liked that. So, yeah. That's very much stuff to look forward to for... Oh, and they also showed off Destiny 2. Did they show off Destiny 2? I don't think they showed off Destiny 2. Anyway, yeah. It looks like we have a lot to look forward to in this year and the beginning of next year when it comes to Sony. But again, we didn't really see much. Yeah. So I had hoped for more from Sony, specifically maybe what From Software was working on, or maybe more The Last of Us 2, which I'll be honest kind of disappointed a lot of people because a lot of us wanted to see more of The Last of Us 2 and we got bupkis. So that being said, moving on to Bethesda. The break. Bethesda had a weird show this year. It was short, but it was straight to the point. But I'll be honest, it wasn't what any of us were really expecting. We're getting Doom and Fallout in VR. Fallout 4 VR hits in October. No, we're not really sure when Doom VR hits, and they're calling it VFR because it's Doom and you have the BFG, so VFR. And I'm sure you can work out what the F means. We're getting the Creation Club. It will bring here. See, the major thing about why paid mods failed is because they allowed anybody to make paid mods, and it kind of went out of control when they first launched them on Steam. And that's why it failed, because you had people like putting mods up there that honestly were shit, and you had to pay for them, which caused the whole uproar. And then the Creation Club, however, looks a lot different. Yes, it's paid mods, but it's they're mods from the best mod developers in the modding business for Bethesda games. And they're Bethesda certified mods, so it's very much a different system. And it looks like I could see this actually working. Yes, it's paid mods, but it's different. It's different from when they first attempted this because they're Bethesda certified mods. Bethesda actually is going in there and taking a look at these mods, making sure they're actually worth money, so not every Tom, Dick, and Harry can go like, oh hey, I want to charge for my mods now. They're from the best mod developers out there for their respective games, Skyrim, Fallout 4, etc. So I want to see how this works, how this actually goes before I make any serious yay or nay comments against it. But I think this could actually work because of the system that they're putting in place for it. We got to look at Skyrim on the Switch, and hey, you know what? You can use amiibos, more specifically the Link amiibo. Not sure if any of the others will work, but you can use your Link amiibo to get the Master Sword and Shield in Skyrim. As well as it looks like the Link's tunic and everything like that. We're getting Dishonored DLC called Death of the Outsider. So I'm curious about that. We finally got a Evil Within 2 gameplay and announcement trailer, which is awesome because Evil Within 2 is what people were looking forward to the last year. And we're getting it this year, and hey, it comes out Friday the 13th of October this year. So, oh, by the way, Dishonored Death of the Outsider comes out September 15th of this year. We got a full reveal of Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, which was teased at the beginning of last year's E3. So, and hey, guess what? It's out in October, too. So, we're getting 2 new games coming out in October. which I think is going to be awesome, because Evil Within 2, a lot of people were looking forward to that being announced, and it's coming out so soon. Same with Wolfenstein 2. That being said, moving on to the loser of E3. I'm sorry, EA, but your show sucked. Your only big announcement that you gave to Microsoft, which was Anthem. I mean, yes, we saw a really good sized chunk of Battlefront 2 gameplay, and it looks good, looks great, but we already knew about Battlefront 2 going into E3 this year, and we've already seen a bit of it, and it's just like old hat, man, old hat. They promised us 30 minutes of Star Wars. They gave us Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, which I'll be honest, I couldn't give a shit about, because it's a mobile pay-to-win bullshit. And yeah, no news on any other on any of their other Star Wars games that were in production that they teased last year. And it's just like, why? What's going on here? Why didn't you give us anything we actually cared about when it comes to Star Wars? I mean, yes, more Battlefront 2 was really good. I was happy to see it. But I wasn't expecting that to be the only core main Star Wars game that you were going to show. What the hell happened, EA? Where's Amy Hennig's Star Wars game that you teased last year that everybody was clamoring to see this year? It was nowhere to be found. That being said, we did see A Way Out, which looks really good, because it's from the creators of Brothers, which A Tale of Two Sons, which has been critically acclaimed, and just everybody loves it. It's a great game. Great story, so I'm very much looking to see how that transitions into A Way Out, which is looks like it might be trying to follow in the same vein. It's a split-screen only game, which thrives to bring back couch co-op, even if you're not playing in couch co-op, because it's all about perspective, I guess, and it's all about these two people. And following these two people through their story. It's definitely a story game, which I'll be honest is this studio specialty. Next up, we got Need for Speed Payback. It looked really good, and then we got the gameplay trailer, and it looks like it plays really good. I like that they're going for a very Fast and the Furious feel, because I'll be honest, it works for it. It works for the Need for Speed franchise. And I'm looking, well, I can't really say that I'm looking forward to it, because racing games aren't really my main thing. But at the same time, it looks really good. I'd probably rent it. Because again, I don't buy racing games. Sorry. I'll rent it. I'll play it. But I might not buy it unless it really is really good. Battlefield 1's getting a Russian expansion, and we'll get night variations of all their main maps. Madden 18's getting a story mode. FIFA 18 is fueled by Ronaldo. Whatever. NBA 18 Live will combine street ball with NBA tournament play, which is nice, and that's it. You can probably see why they lost E3 this year. They did tease Anthem, which was the Anthem for the Xbox show, but that was it. So they basically gave away their one major reveal that would have maybe, doubtfully, saved them from last place, and gave it away to Microsoft. But you know what? That wraps up my E3 conference breakdown and ratings. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe for more content in the future. This is a bit of a breakaway from what I usually do, but if you enjoyed it, let me know. Leave your comments down below to tell me why you agree with me, why you disagree with me, and we'll have fun with the discussion. So, yeah, I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye.